做这了么个古有波路上那到叫elected official 哈，叫 judge 了么introduce 波都看哈，还有波时候的波都么他们觉得小王盘那个吃了呢，波叫legislative priority 了呀的，你要的胡西里呢，波叫个 policy 波有路了巴的小了的家，胡考的呢的家，找到 state 呢波的家，你要的啥组织手了，波么的样个波有那学到了被找那种子叫公好哈，叫推叫知道的。路上那些路上规模都不是的。
还你说的是的我 first 个啥哈，我之后的Hmong community 我个那群结果都哈不老了哈从啥个被到每年到乡那呢，我呀面的Neng Xiong哈他上几部个有几多领导龙背的是个啥哈，我之后就从这个到把车股哈把车股的 campaign 到奥盘那个不老就那个那种哈，我呀为么被叫Hmongกูเขาต้องมั่วแย่งฮะต้องมั่วจุ่มมองลุนทูจนหน้าชื่อโอเด็กเล่นหนูจะไปจะไปสิงฮะเย่กูรู้สึกมั่วฮะจะแต่เหมือนคือจริงๆตัวกูฮะจะไปรู้จักกับหนุ่มพอร์ตนั่นเย่ขออีกี่ฮะเก็บบ้านจะละหลวงกูย้อนเราขอกับหนุ่มพอร์ตนั่นอย่างAnd so I also wanted to mention that Brooklyn Park has 80,000 residents and it's continuing to grow. And we are one of the most diverse cities as well in the city, I mean in the state and in the country. And so with that, then we have to find the proper resources to ensure that there is a prosperous living as well for our current and new residents to come. As the city is continuing to grow, that means that we are also getting a huge influx of youth as well too. And as they are the future of our city, we must ensure that our youth are given the proper resources in order to strive and to be leaders in our city. A huge part of my daily job is continuous civic engagement and ensuring that our residents, they feel heard and that they are at the center of the decision-making tables. And so those are my priorities. I won't take up too much time because there's a lot of us, so I will pass it on.
Thank you. I had to take notes so I could put this down, and I apologize, my Hmong is not very good, and on top of that, I speak Green Hmong, and so it's probably even harder for all of you to understand. So, but my name is Kita Yang. I'm so excited to be here today. I want to thank the Committee 100 for the invitation, and I'm excited to be up here in this company here. So I was recently re-elected to the school board of 622, which covers Maplewood, North St. Paul, and Oakdale, and parts of Lake Elmo, and Pine Springs, and Landfall. So during my time on school board, so this is my second term, I've served on several committees. I've done the Association of Metropolitan School District Executive Committee and the Ramsey County League of Local Governments. I'm also the school board chair, so I was sworn in last year. I expect to be sworn in again this year, and hopefully it's more than 2 years. So our district has been growing in the last 20 years. We have about 65% students of color in our district. And in response, our district has invested in the skills and expertise of our teachers, our staff, and our admin. We developed the strength in our curriculum offerings, our career readiness programs, and then the supports and opportunities for our students. My focus as a school board member is school safety, building strong relationships, and then prioritizing academic achievement for all our students. I want to address these issues because right now there is a lot of things such as chronic absenteeism that impact our academic performance for our students. Mental health is a crisis right now also, as well as violence in our schools and the staffing shortages that we see for our teachers. So what I want to do is continue to create a safe and secure environment. This means for both mental health as well as physical safety. and we have to provide the necessary support for our students. When our students feel safe, they're more likely to trust and stay engaged, and it helps them to be successful and create a safe and healthy environment for everybody. Building meaningful relationships in our schools as well as in our communities. Strong, positive relationships create belonging, and they encourage positive behavior. This improves the attendance for our students. It improves school performance, and it also creates higher completion rates for our students. Prioritizing academic achievement focuses on making sure students reach their personal goals and they meet critical outcomes. So we look at curriculum options, we look at the activities that students are involved in, we address absenteeism, we look at school climate, we support our students, our teachers, our staff, and we create opportunities for positive learning experiences. All of that, I come from a family of teachers and professionals. I'm so delighted to continue my work on school board and also in my daily professional life. And I, like I said before, I'm excited to be here. I look forward to connecting with all of you and continue to network. So, thank you.
Nhớ trong hoa đâu sẽ cứ lâm bay hoa nó xí ya cứ ya từ đó sinh ở sẽ gì sa sinh Paul word đâu or ya sa east side sinh Paul thì ya cứ họ sa bên chỉ cho cái kinh hay thì cứ từ gì nữa bay hoa công pin xiong họ cứ nhà thấy cái gì cái lâm bay hoa tổng công ya thì nhanh công hong sinh ba cứ nhà phải thấy gì lâm bay hoa giả hoa xiong thì gì công hong sinh ya đây cứ hay luôn mình chỉ cứ sa hay ở hòn đây là hay tiệt cứ trong xe hình hay tiệt những sản phẩm trong nó chỉ một bây giờ mong cho chống hình rồi sĩ từ thìยิ่งlà cái kia ôn nào chữ thế chỉ ta lên tới những sản phẩm trong nó mà bên một chỉ bên những mong cho chống hình đó mà nếu mà tôi sẽ đọc là thế mà cái cô ở đó cứ trong xe thì cái xe chắc tới vì đó khó thế rồi những sản phẩm trong nó đi họ xài tiền tại bây giờ họ lười mua cho nên chữ họ chống mà bên nhà chống qua cho họ lười nó tới xì thầu bé mua họ lười kia na bé yên bỏ bé cho nên ngồi trong ý đi bé chỉ chơi hình này giờ thì nó chỉ bé yên chỉnh mò xe hình chứ chống từ là sĩ từ thế còn là họ tàu rộng từ trong nó cho bé tới số cho nên và yên cho kỳ chỉ giỏi giờ thì bé cho kỳ giỏi nhị lô thế chỉ kiến chắc tới cho kỳ lợi cho nên cho nên ngồi chứ họ giờ bé nào bao hay tiền bé cha nên giờ thì trả thế bé mua cho kỳ chơi và mình đi chạy sẽ được thì họ mua cho kỳ bao hồi xin lô kỳ nhá xin nhớ cho họ bé lúa gì lúa là gì lúa giỏi nó chỉ cú họ mất tay cú sai biến là tất nhiên ông đi nó cú họ sai hay vẫn cho lúc mong kinh nghiệm và 100 hay tiền ni họ mua cho cái lúa theo cho bé sẽ ni họ chỉ mua lúa cũng chinh mua cái trong xin nó đâu bé xong đi từ thiệt theo cho your sponsors cho đâu và sẽ được những họ lúc tổ chức nó theo trong từ và chỉ nhớ tới nó ni họ cho tham gia bé lúa campaign lo theo chỉ ta nên để bé cho đi nữa bé họ thì một trăm mong lộ bé cho họ lời nói bé mong bé họตัวย่อโตชี้เจ้าตัวชงนมาไปมัวจำหงวันมัวจะดูตัวย่อสรุปตรงนั้นจะบีมัวนี่สกิดใช่ไหมนี่เขาป้าเนี่ยป้าเจอเป็นจากแคมเปญป้าเธอรู้จักรู้จอยาวยิ่งจีคือสีมีตีเนี่ยตีเจ็ดเที่ยนี่รู้จักจอเกลียว่าเจ้านี่จะบังป้าเธอเป็นนี่จะทางด้านของเจ้าตัวเป็นเสด็จนั่นจีมัวนุ่นนอหล่อที่จะบีมัวนี่เสด็จcứ cho họ lựa quay tới tất sinh cho họ luôn trong sinh hoạt nó chỉ cứ yên các sẽ hành động cho họ lựa theo mọi sẽ hành động cho nên họ cứ sợ chỉ nhớ nó sai ít sai sinh hoạt vì đó họ cứ yên ít chữ lo bỏ cho cái cho nhẹ tới cứ trên nên lo theo bé mong mà yên bỏ hết bé cho cái cho nhẹ yên giống như lựa hai nên đi theo thì liên tới gì cứ theo đi họ mọi sẽ or cho họ lựa cho họ politics nó参加個說到應到這幾方面，有到佢做好類嘢，俾咗俾就得成啦，俾我做好類嘅情景型，依個嘢俾應來chỉ cho cha有到佢俾luôn trong，佢只帶領到俾咗就我自己是係第二次做胸咯，而俾luôn trong有收視力人，就俾成說到嘢，佢哋有睇到就好類有到佢俾luôn trong係做舊時我咯靠嘅摸啲 part 啲library 都有咩項目，認到睇下最近呢幫咗好luôn trong nó chỉ有俾摸平。cho cho họ luyện tới họ chỉ chính cha cho họ luyện cho họ sai ít sai sinh họ nói về của những món sẽ hiện có biết họ ô tô của họ luyện cho developers có ô tô chỉ còn tàu cha nhớ cho họ biết luôn trong thế chỉ thay tới chứ cho la lụa cho họ biết luôn trong thế sĩ thế sớ lại còn được họ và mình tàu thế lo tàu kia tàu nhớ cho họ biết luôn trong nói bị đó khó hai tiền biết ô tô ở dạng tới mà biết cho biết sinh nhớ cho họ biết luôn trong sinh họ nó 我有种种鸟通过有啲天干我梦碰种差不多呢，鸟到晒一晒，你有落到天，你有开到，它其他人的有谁有比较背景好睇，它都有拉落的是你比较早到可能的是啲。但是那么古人呢，对讲对还点，เขาว่า鸟差不多就了嘅，有好节目，可能佢好有我有做好了咯，中国里错向嘛，有因节目做，老把车有这呢嘅，佢有好在ขึ้นบอก里讲了中国里因情ได้เขา嘅做嘢นะ，佢哋嘢เขาว่าจริงๆ佢哋เขาเป็นอย่างต่อจากนี้วันนี้都好ใช้อีใส่เรา佢ใช้嘢มาอีเจนี่นอนเลยอยู่เขาคือตอนนี้เราจะที่เขาเชียร์อีสองซึ่งนะจริงๆเขาเชื่อว่าจะยังเห็นเรากูว่าไม่เชื่อถึงว่ากูจะเขาเลยเนาะเชื่อก็เชื่อเลยยิ่งแบบมิ่งบีเราเขาอยากให้เดียไปเขาโตคนเดียวยิ่งอยากอีเขายิ่งโตเชื่อลิงเชื่อตื่นนะกูให้สายว่าเชื่อเรานี่เชื่อเลยให้เดียนี่เขาป้าลูไปใช้อีสายเดียนี่ยิ่งอีจืดวันนี้จะได้หนูเป็นนอกได้จากวันสมาธิเชื่อจะไม่ยิ่งตัวใช้อีสายเนี่ยกี่ว่าเจ้าตอนนี้จะกี่รู้จะใช้อีสายเดียสิ่งพอได้ชีเท่แบบได้จะเชื่อแต่ตอนนี้เราไปเขาเชื่อเลยชีของเตต้าเที่ยวโอ้โหเราเต้าเกย์เราบ้านสังกัดเชื่อเลยก็เลยเขามองจะเก็บแบบนี้
Neng Xiong, Ramsey County Commissioner Neng Xiong, Councilmember Yang Dao, you did such a great job explaining the work and our interest in running for public office. So Guya Chi Hai Jin the Moon, Yang Viet, Councilmember Yang Hai Dao Zhong Go Gilila. The Yang Yao Viet, the Gutilo Shitilo, Ramsey County Commissioner. Hmong Committee of 100 for organizing this, or trong do tan thọ bây giờ còn hỗ trợ game, trong do bây giờ businesses, cho là luật, cho bây giờ attorneys, cho những chuyện game, cho hỗ bây lúc community na. You are all leaders here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to invest in your community, giving back, and continue to invest in the infrastructure, which is the people here. Nó chỉ những nhỏ bé không có superpower nữa mà, nhỏ bé khỏi cho cái she thơ she lu she bám lý nó tập bé thì mua bé cái elected leaders giống lý nó nhỏ số, cho nó cụ hợp priorities là cụ lưu chính mua for cụ cho lưu cho nó chỉ bé the county commissioner nó chỉ bé tàu assignments nên tàu nữa bé mua lý nên có bé cho tàu lưu committee or boards bé có thể serve on nhưng vì bé mua joint power agreements nên tàu đó nên tàu lưu county thiệt nên là giờ chỉ bé có thể lưu sai chỗ là cho họ liên tàu ok bé có thể approve your budgets tàu thiệt bé có thể make sure that bé cho county manager lo lý cho executive director lo là họ lưu rong thì cho nó cũng do sĩ hạt để cũng tất cả là ôi to chair our housing and redevelopment authority luôn tới họ luôn tổ nhà sĩ em một kho va kho chế thế tổ nhà sĩ有了把车support and develop more developers or bigger emerging and diverse developers này vậy thì còn thấy có opportunity bây giờ build generational wealth là有了把车cho new businesses nữa. Jin the Gula the Vice Chair of Regional Rail Authority, the lo to nya che to bats ho or transit. Lấy họ ili cho cái chấm ba nó dọn lấy cho train tới từ chị trên tới cho bé vô plan đến đấy nhưng trong đến đấy hình nữa bé cho nó chị we have one line that we are about to open which is the gold line. Gold line tới cái lúc bài này bộ lower construction the highway I-94 na yo a mu to the Woodbury the in the yo project a Ramsey County we fund so basically the Ramsey County the lopa plan and fund part of it the natural transit team at council the luma la shi la cho luma la to loop project the ma or team luma shi la nya to zi to tia so in the co-work of the Ramsey County board in the join other regional boards here, East Metro Strong, the Purple Line Task Force, Gold Line Joint Powers Board, Red Rock Corridor, plan transit, isn't it? So will happen in the within my term here, or law will happen later on. For example, the Gold Line, the law, it took many years, like decades, to Green Line. The North oil planning documents is so crucial that we are a part of that the whole way. via there, they make so many different decisions on it that high and we aren't a part of that process, we will get left behind. So I'm super honored and proud to be able to represent the East Side as well as our community here on all those issues. In addition to that, we are active nationally and statewide. For statewide, I am on the Association of Minnesota Counties Board of Directors as well as Beilu Workforce and Education and General Government. So the Yali council member, hi, I am in a sea of so for me to be able to convey our challenges in the metro here is very challenging. So cú trong xia để cũng một cái phong như trong một hoa lửa trong tờ state na nhưng việc để nhưng nhớ cơ nè cú chỉ cú lại bắt thở lửa lúc sau tờ thiệt chỉ tờ show nó cú your focus on supporting and pulling your commissioners across the state to talk about the formula that impacts us or impact là cho nhiệt thế là more fight on the state là một trong your county. Willing the big your property tax like your shape big take don't change the got it so you should share hina yo yang vi te yo be rely on the city be look county no the be your law your so you know you your chi tong they your to holun Ramsey County the lu trong Singapore no ye the my priorities that I will be working on. In addition to that, we are going to go back to the basics too. So we more regional work done down in the law being more had there you usually make sure that your house is in order. Now we have to make sure Ramsey County is working, operating efficiently. That's not good on the down the more apply on medical assistant in the law on the day na that's not being good being focus that they should not be prioritize foundational excellence. They beg your whole look county not go big workers on chamu to address some of those shortages and challenges. Being do big supervisors, managers, directors to work overtime to help process applications. Being do county support from other counties too to help us to help make sure that we process those applications earlier. So that is my commitment to all of you and to focus on both housing, transit, and also excellence in our services. And again, thank you so much for this honor. It's been such a pleasure to be in community with you all. Thế cũng một cái trong chia chập là để nên muốn nó này trong ba thập bé cái này vậy quá chắc.
Neng Xiong của State Representative Cao Ly Vang Ho, so quyền có nói vang của nhà mỏ ho, well really của nhà nàng sinh công ho, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my own background. As I của nhà chế mỏ vang của nhà colonel Cho vang cho family, and then của nhà colonel Neng Xiong, and so. That is the branch of the family that I come from. And I wanted to just say first, being a lot of leaders in our community, and that we should be recognizing all of them and not just elected. I would have to say that I couldn't do this work if it wasn't for my husband, who's here today. Can you just stand so people can see you, so they know I'm married to you? And I think that it is very important. I think most people, Vice President at Midwest One, and he does institutional investments and investment risk management. And so, the millions, billions of dollars they have, and he does all the investments for that. And so, I can't do what I do if I didn't have as equally of a strong partner doing this work with me. So, I want to thank my husband for his support in this. And I think that what is important for us to note is that I think I could talk about the agenda for Shono the Shi. I think we could be to remember is that we have the co-chair of commerce. And the reason why Shono Beha co-chair is to that the Minnesota House is in a 67-67 split, which means no one has the majority. So whatever you're reading in the papers about Republicans saying they have the majority, they do not. We have a tied parties at the House, and so right now we have co-chairs of our committee, and I co-chair Commerce. And Commerce is a very powerful committee because it looks at all of the state of Minnesota. And prior to that, I was the chair of pensions, and so what state workers, county workers, if you have a pension, I managed the pension fund for 2 years, and that was I think that was over $50 billion. I look at Ethan. $150 billion that I oversaw over pensions and looking at the health of pensions for the state of Minnesota. It is by far the largest pension plan in our state. And so I've had the privilege of doing a lot of financial work because my background is in investments and finance. And so my agenda specifically for this year is what we're looking at is reinsurance, and also because our state does reinsurance and we only have 2 years left on that before it gets extended. And then the other issue we're working on is always looking at drug prices, the 340B, also private equity and consolidation of businesses. And so there's quite a bit of work that we're looking at, fraud within different divisions, white collar crime, and so that's kind of the work that I do in the purview of that. Tashima, I think that what I'd like to spend just a little bit of time talking about today is that as I listen to your colleagues from school board to city council to counties, is that I would like to see us have a bigger effort where we all work together, because at the state, so I carried a bill that doubled the ELL funding for school districts, right? And that meant that our kids that shouldn't have, even though we have more American-born students ever, we still have the same number of kids in ELL, and the data and the information does not match what we think should be happening, right? And so we are the ones that allocate, we fund school district budgets. When we think about local government aid and what we give, St. Paul is actually one of the cities that receives the most aid because that aid is based on need. And so that makes up a good portion of St. Paul city budget. When we think about the county aid that we provide to our county commissioners, and I think about the money that we put into housing, the millions of dollars that we put into over a 10-year period to invest in housing, that all comes to our county. And so all of the work that we do is tied together, that none of us does anything by ourselves, and it takes all of us to create a system that is going to allow our communities to thrive. And so your colleagues, you've been at different levels of government. I think sometimes people look at us and say, well, you're this level, and the truth is we're all equal levels, and that we're all elected to our seats, and we all hold different types of power, but equal power, and that in order for us to ever accomplish what we want for our communities, we have to work together. And so I just want to say a couple words in that, but also to that at the legislature, we have been very successful in getting funding for the Hmong community. To be honest, at the leadership of Representative Ethan Zhang, who is the MAC co-chair, we were able to give record investments in the Hmong community to our SGU for Go Yu Sing for specific projects that lift up the Hmong community. And so we can't do this work. Advocate the capital, being partners at the county who are fighting for housing funds. We would not be able to do this work if it was not for our council members and our school board members who are saying we need funding to fill the gap in order to close that achievement gap. We would not be able to do this work because we are Gauling of 133 people, 38 people, 31 people, so there are 34 people. So, right, and then there's our senators and that body, and so they are Gauling of just that group of people, and we really need all of you in order for us to do this. And so I just want to close it here that I think that you should remember that Hmong represent very diverse groups of people also. So Gulu District, St. Paul, the Shima Gulu District, the Cathedral, Summit Avenue, Grand Avenue, the Governor's Mansion is in my district. My heart and my soul is my Hmong community, and they are the ones who show up for me when I need it. And I hope that we all remember that what Committee 100 is doing today, we all saw what happened to Sheng Tao in Oakland. The Hmong community, they can remove you from office. And so for us to always remember that just because we have people in office does not mean that we hold these offices, is that we need continual support from everybody in our communities to do so. So wajama.
Hello everyone. Guya State Representative Leslie, Lashim Beimong Young Kosher Balik, Guzia, Lita, Nutai Gudwabe. Jungalik, Guyabin Yotu, Haidao, Jungulila, we had the bit hot event, not the slightly political event. Guyo Hai Mimin Zin the Gothipa had the Bashina, Bay more Katai, Yati State House now, okay? Go Hai Yanote, go your connect Hanota, I think Councilmember Yat here, Commissioner Xiong to Haita and the gay take shade here. Jijo Chong Tolana Bay, Tonya Ho, they kill the Ming vì bé mua bé chồng mình nó bé chủ thể xây thế có thể tàu cho nhà lì là nhà xong cho bé cho tầm lo bé cho này khu bé cho yêu bé hay public servant nó ok cái khó concept nó là lúc học piano nó the mình cái sao cái là hay cái social contract right bé tôi nhớ bé chồng mình bé chủ thể xây cái khỏi bé mua xí trả để bé chơi đó cho hay cái xây cho nên từ cái thể xây tao một lý trả ok cái bé cho nhớ nó hiện tại tiếng do cho Democrat vì hay bây giờ thì do you blow thì you chỉ thể bảo cho ấy nên mua mình gì ok thì cứ hai bên đó xử vì hay thì muốn đó nên bao nhiêu hay thì vì lý do bây giờ chúng muốn bỏ cho Democrat là bây bỏ cho Hmong thì cứ yêu biến mình thì đi chỉ sao thể sinh đó yêu chịu bỏ cho Democrat nhưng mà cho nên là hay thì you bỏ cho Republican thì chơi là yêu dễ chơi là nít thì mà cứ biến mình hay thì được dễ chơi là dễ yêu khó là hay sự ok because you chỉ muốn nhân đạo thì you là yêu chủ là những cái dễ nít cho chơi thì cứ biến mình là vì thì tại nó trong nó cũng nhớ taxes committee elections committee and also the education finance committee so tại tao để lúc committee nữa giờ committee she phải cái nhia cho bây giờ chỉ cần đó nhớ sinh Minnesota nó thì cũng biết mấy thì giờ bây giờ cái bây giờ mình yêu mua cần đó bây giờ chỉ cần đó rong có tao giờ này khui这看到的了thế bây giờ chụp bỏ cho Democrat cái bây mỗi cái nhia nó she phải cho cái nhia gì mỗi mình nhớ thế phải cho cái nên chọn nhẹ cũng tao nhớ taxes committee đó ở bên trong là ít hỏi biết tao ôi hơi khó child tax credit là she là hay the working families tax credit lúc idea nó cái hơi khó là hay the best in the nation first in the nation sai tao hay the nhớ sinh mình sau nó bé mà muốn không chấp lời vì hay the bé mua cho I guess elected leaders chứ nó chịu phải chơi đó really Representative Gully Hurt thế Ethan bé tao là gì hay the bé yêu she cái như bé bây giờ chị sinh mình sau đó cho những share bây giờ show ok là mỗi cái đó cho những gì ấy mỗi mình nhiều giàu lắm vậy nên bảo cho những mỗi nhiều giàu từ chế nên tao những tao đã làm được sinh mình sau đó là ok cứ biết mình là sự cái này cái gì hay thì thầu bên một cái thái lên nó thì tôi chỉ xem một chút rồi xem bây chỉ mua rau đó là advocate là trong là hay thì bây giờ mỗi những gì phải là cho nó thì bây giờ nhiều khó khăn hơn election đó mà bây giờ khi cho xong thì cái những cái gì hay thì bây giờ là tao chỉ trong nó bị hay thì giờ mua này bắt thật bây giờ đó mà cái trong đây nó cho ở hiện tại nó cái những cái quan trọng hay thì nhiều bảo đảm từ chấp ba tụi này hay này trên này community là thì cũng biết mình sẽ đó mà okay two parts sorry second part is trong nói trong up hành của chị thì really I think về trên món tao cho tao hay thì thay tao hay thì trong nó bên Hmong tôi nhớ họ tới chấm cái nó chưa trong lại về bên mình hay thì vì hay thì bên một chùa linh Hmong nhớ từ state house về lúc chơi đó bên trên mu hai tao có lần mỗi ít bao nhiêu là ba bên sinh hoạt cho ăn trong hành động thế nào vậy bên mình này thì giờ vì ní tao số ní một bằng ba ní ba mỗi ní bên trên tao lên đó chỉ cái những cái gì hay thì giờ bé tao số bé sư phụ bé công ty nó bây giờ tao cũng nó dùng tận đây so bên mình and then I will give it to my senator Susan Pa who is also the co-author of that bill which is really important because in Minnesota you have to have a bill introduced in the House and the Senate so I do want to thank her for her leadership of that in the Senate as well and yeah, I hope that everyone understood the Hmong. If not, please follow up later because I think I've expired my time.
Hello, Neng Xiong. Good evening to everyone tonight. I also want to first acknowledge my husband. I know many of you guys already know who he is, but I'd love for him to stand. My husband, Nicholas, who's also here with me today. I want to take a moment to just thank our Hmong committee of 100 plus Beka Hoseka sponsors of tonight, our MCs, all the people that came together to make this evening possible. Thank you so much. This is our first for our community to come together as a group, and it's very fitting that we do this at the beginning of a brand new year. a year that has many possibilities for our community, many things that we can do together as a group. Before I get into, I'm going to save my priorities for last. Probably in some of the stuff that I'm doing for last, I want to say, as I look around in this room, with every single one of you, I feel like we're in a room of some of the most important people and most influential, most impactful people in our community, and how great it is to be amongst all of you. There's not a single person in this room, as I'm looking around, that has not made an impact in our Hmong community. I see trailblazers that started 40, 50 years ago when we first came to the United States and came to Minnesota that led our nonprofits. I see our veterans who paved the path for us to come to the United States. I see our attorneys and our lawyers who take care of our communities. When we're in trouble, we need them. I see our current nonprofit leaders like Mein Zai Paul from HAP here. I see our educators like Dr. Jian Blo and Dr. Li Bo-hyung here, and my friend Bive Moa who's here. I see so many great people, and I'm not going to name all, but as I see you, I can't help but to call you out. I see Dr. Yado, who's the very first doctor who made it possible for people to see that Hmong people can be educated, Hmong people can do many things. And then I see our Hmong media who's always here, who are our voices, our amplifiers, so we get our message out into the community. And especially Joe Lee, who for a very long time, I mean, this guy never ages, but he's been doing this work for 40 years. So I just want to say, as I look around, I point out a few people because every single one of you, and if I could tell the story, I actually know many of your stories. But you are part of this community. When I think about the year 2025, as we look to celebrate 50 years of us being here in Minnesota in the United States, but we look at the next 50 years, I am honored to be amongst all of you. I'm honored to be in this work with you. And I look forward to working with you to build the next 50 years. Because you are the visionaries. The ones before us envisioned that someday we be here, and we are here. And then the ones today, we're envisioning what tomorrow's going to be for our children and our future. Let's work together to build that future. Because every single one of you are part of that vision. And when I think about the Hmong, especially the Hmong community of 100, they've got big visions, a lot of big visions. I think about our business leaders like Guva, Duo Hyung. I think about these guys who are giants when it comes to business. They've got big visions for our community. So as I stand here, I just want to say, I'm so proud to do this work with you. And I look forward to doing this work with you. And that 2025 is going to be a fantastic and amazing year for our community, because we're going to accomplish so many great things, not just for our Hmong community, but for the entire U.S., the entire world to look at. And so just the small pieces in my world, as a state senator, that's a priority for me this year, among the great work I'm going to be looking forward to doing with all of you. The small things that I'm going to be doing over at the Capitol is I'm really going to focus on housing. Housing, economic development, jobs, healthcare, making that affordable, doing some healthcare reforms, some social services, and for me, it's youth mental health. Last year I pushed a couple of bills on youth mental health. This year I'm going to continue to push on it, because our young people deserve us to pay attention, or we're going to lose a whole generation of young people. And they are the leaders for tomorrow. So these are the things I'm going to be working on as a priority for me at the State Senate. But the bigger picture of that, again, is that I look forward to the work we're going to do together as a community. The vision we have for the next 10, 20, 50 years for our community. And not just here in Minnesota, but worldwide. Just so that everybody knows what committees I'm on this new year at the State Capitol, I am the Vice Chair of the Capital Investment Committee. I am on the Housing Committee, the Jobs and Economic Development Committee, Transportation Committee, and I'm on many of our Senate groups and Senate caucuses. I won't name them up, there's quite a few. But we're very involved especially big Hmong elected officials, we're very involved in all the areas that we can be, in all these different subcommittees and groups, because we know that oftentimes we're the only minority voice at that table. So we have to be at the table, because if we're not, our voice is never going to get elevated, never going to be heard. So that's why it's so important for us to get involved in everything. I'm going to end it there and just say thank you to every single one of you for the work that you have done to get us to this point. 50 years of Hmong people here, elected officials like us that can do this. I didn't get here by myself. I have the privilege of being a senator because 50 years, thousands of Hmong people slowly build those bricks so that someday we could climb those stairs and get to the top. And I am also going to lay those bricks for others. So thank you.
Neng Xiong, or good evening. Ulumbe Hmong Yanzao, Gumbe Mika Ya Sophia, Guyungo Mongvu, Utuzi Yamulao, Bilinda Kutia Judge Sophia, Vulao. So, we be Piane Ija Danung Yabilija, Utili Motsake, Pushia Lawa Itu San Zetsi, Laya, Itu Judge. It's best illustrated in a story why I was inspired to become a judge. Tokunya High School, Uga Martin Luther King, he inspired me. Nuwara Kukushia Hatia, wow, ya they turn off, Mikadu, Neng Xiong, Jumongi Kelly, the Shitoshia, Mukuda Jada, the Toshia, Don't Yakomai, Osan. They changed the laws. They instituted Civil Rights Act of 1964, and that is how they gained racial equality. I was inspired by that in high school when I learned about the Civil Rights Movement. Mukanda College, what did I see? Guparaji. This is what I saw. Gupa Haitia. Nyate Kamika. Togumuka College. The Yeshua Itsetupa Yuklau. Gupa Haitia. Nungjan Shaibe Mong Jumari. Gupa Lina. Gumuko. Ilu Conference. To Asian Americans. Who are Asian American Studies Conference. Nyata San Jose. Gumuji Nung Asia. Gumuji Nung Shua. Nung Nipong. Which by it the Mongli. Lenjigu. Lum Malipo the Guya the Mong. Le Halinado Gu. Le Hatia. Wow. Gaya eat the Mondia. E Oyaka Chi. Oyaka Mua. Le Hatia. Oyaka Cosmopolitan Tamboli. Mong Hatia. What's Hatia? Oyaka Chi say Tamboli. But yeah. So the opposite of cosmopolitan is it didn't say, right? That's what they were saying to me. Oya kaya Hmong, the shikachi say, boli besa the Hmong say. Gachi backwards. Gachi so uneducated, so unsophisticated. Dole besa the Hmong mika jonglija. And it was in that moment, Lucy Handa Gumanango. Tata mua ko yi ko cho shong ku khơ au ku lu share ha tia ku yo I tin sai mong mika ku moi ilu nang se the shi pe moi I hai nang mong. I was going to do everything in my ability to elevate our people. Ku yo I po cha ya ku wa tao kap nang Asia nang mika da le hai nang po ha tia pe hai nang mong ya I hai nang mong e mong gi tia. That we also matter. And so it was through these experiences, that's where we can change lives. That's where we can interpret laws to make sure that our society imposes fairness and justice. But more than anything, bicha ilu shua pa ya, bicha ka le hai nang, shai be mo li, ka be mo ilu shua, ka be mo itzaki, don yan yang, and that's what the courts are. The courts are a place to impose nothing but justice and fairness. And so while I have the greatest respect for my friends and all these fantastic public leaders to my right and to my left, politicians. So please know that this is not a political event. I'm here to support. Hmong 100 tonight because, like you, I have a dream for our people. A dream where everyone can aspire to be the greatest version of themselves and to promote excellence. Big among judges, big more allegiance to the Democratic Party. Big more allegiance to the Republicans. Our only allegiance is to the United States Constitution and to the Minnesota Constitution. And I want to make that very clear because big judges, it's because we can't come out. We don't touch without the political events. Even though Susan is my dear friend, I can never come to her political events. Representative Goldie Vang Her is a dear friend I've known since college. We don't touch without the political events. So, we believe that we don't touch here, we think we're stuck here. And so with that, I want to leave with dream big, Boshua la la. That's why Hmong 100 exists. With what's how the lu hop here, go pay higher, Boshua la cha the normal. I am 53, I share that openly because I could not have imagined and to my left are these amazing leaders, and to my right are these amazing leaders as well. I could not have imagined that I would have this colleague, Judge Adam Ya, with colleague Judge Paul Ya, and now with colleague Judge Daya Ya Holu Ramsey County District Court with And so, if you feel a little jittery in your heart, it's a good thing, because that means that God bosh la la. You get to walk high, you chang mei mei. That means God's a game bosh watching, ji la zao. So I just want to leave you with that.
You sure you want to go last? Okay. Okay. Đó rằng ya chúng tôi cũng bên Hmong của chịu chạy nè, của cái lý do mà cũng chơi á, cái sự tại sao nó one night sản thì chịu rồi, thì cũng bên lỗ chạy, bên lỗ chịu chạy, của cái night sản nhau Second Judicial District Ramsey County, Minnesota mà nhau lúc làm Minnesota nó đúng một cầu Judicial District nè, thì Ramsey County thì vì cái population wise thì Ramsey County thì Second Judicial District. Hennepin County, nó chỉ trong cái Hennepin County là 4th Judicial District. Thì ta ra vào cho Yilu District, nhưng mà ta ra vào 80 Yilu chỉ cho county, so Minnesota nó là fight over the other 8 districts. Watch out, Hmong Committee of 100, here the sponsors, Stearns Bank and Hmong House, here Hmong Town, and the organizers. Thank you. Để cho nên cho lưu công trình là tôi cho bé tôi hay lưu luận chính này. Và cái bé mình chỉ cho tụi king, và hay lưu mình mong tạc mà hay lưu mình cảm gì. Và one day tôi là tụi nice son judge, tôi gửi cho lawyer tôi Neng Xiong. So 2018, ở Bắc Kinh thì cũng kia campaign or to judge, ở Bắc Kinh cũng mà bị judge tôi judge tao trong xem nữa. Thì trong áp hành của tôi là cụ thể thì judge P. Paul ya ưu đã cả là kia đó, nhà sinh nhà lúc trong đấy mà chỉ một thứ sinh lúc trong này, chỉ một thứ là shit từ kia đó lúc trong thì áp hành của tôi thì election year, đó là need to bảo campaign này, đó họ thì chỉ một thứ là kia sinh lúc trong. Judge Sophia Willow, your story is great. Let me see if I can beat that. I don't think I can beat that. When y'all put it's in Japan, you do not. The Yoga High School. You can y'all Kidu, Hamu, Wisconsin, right? Jamu, Wisconsin. Guess what? We your fireworks. Then when they look at that, we your fireworks. The Wisconsin, from the Minnesota, legend, stop more fireworks now. It's illegal. It would have go out to Gube, Yota. We crossed St. Croix River back to Minnesota. The minute we lock here today, we were stopped by police. And the reason is, there are two things in Wisconsin. You lock it today, St. Croix, Minnesota, it'll day you. So we were stopped. There were more tickets, though we took to go for possession of fireworks. There's no more possession of fireworks. It's not illegal, depending on what it is. Chỉ thằng đó lọ của thiết bỏ thì, you need to nâng sao, you need to nâng tới đảng, you chỉ bảo luật tại đây, đôi you mới you chịu. So how do you prevent that from happening? You are trả you thiết bảo to you to king, you already trả you thiết bảo to đại nâng. Become a lawyer, become a judge. Be Sophia High. We're not any party. We're not Democrats. We're not Republicans. We're in the middle. It's like we are there to make sure you are there. If you do show up at court, if you need to pay, we are fair to you. We are respectful to you, and we make sure that you are treated fairly. As Judge Sophia Willow said, you don't see us too much out there in the public because what we say in the public matters. Be hai lo lu lo, itu neng, you lu neng zali. Be the guilty. So we have to be careful about where we go. We have to be careful about the events that we go to. But the point of all this, with the judge, who is what they call you, name what to do, don't go, show them what I did in the name. What can judge in the name? Which is some of the true name. Be it a more pay on that, let's pop it and the da. You had style, that's what there's a lawyer when you try to pay. Some more pay plot to judges. Yada. Agent Saturday, there's all Minnesota now, more judges, pay the more judges. Don't chat here, Hennepin County, some more, Anoka, Washington County, some more. So we're trying to push a bit more apply to the counties outside of the St. Paul Ramsey County. So why? You need to the judges will make sure that you're treated fairly, you're respected, and respect. So that's what we do. Pass on to you.
Okay, giờ giờ tao biết lo của chị li tao có thua chị chờ ca hay luôn chỉ mang lại thì xem mà khi mình chỉ của dòng xe đó lúc nào cũng tôi bỏ lúc làm mình sau là giờ cái sai nó sẽ chữa tôi trong chap là cho tới chuẩn bị cả nó đó bây Wisconsin bây trong cái kia thì bây tới chúng đi tu stay và house cái đó là Madison đó thì của dòng xe đó bây Minnesota đó thì cũng xã hội tiền tổng tây nó bây Wisconsin bây giờ sau này tôi có nó sĩ công tây thiết của bây mua cho sai cho house representative nhau là Madison thiết thì giờ người ta cũng dùng xe đó lúc cả mấy chỉ ít bùa nữa là thì lúc nào cũng sẽ thấy tôi thay bà của tôi cổng nó sức lúc khi mình chỉ cũng tôi khen thế ta của yêu kia thì của yêu mong vui của lúc bé nè ta giờ chỉ tôi tìm mà hoa nọ tu sảy vui nữa thì của lúc bé America hoa tham mà sảy vui nữa vậy của yêu cho mong vui nhớ đồ sát tích chờ một nhà đó thì giờ trong của thế giờ và cài nữa thì giờ của cho tôi chính rằng thiết vậy thế này cũng chưa hử giờ của ít tôi nói thế như sợ chưa cả lúc bỏ coi sẽ cũng chưa vậy tôi nói giờ thế này cũng chưa hử nè vậy là tôi nói thế này nhau nói thế đấy cái ba giờ của họ đó là họ nói thế vậy cũng thà mình chỉ cho cũng khó background hay là của đó chỉ khó cũng xã hay thì phải xong ở chép lâu làm sao đó xong ở chép cổ bên để mà trong sáng qua sẽ đi không sầu nhớ là ok thì của tao lâu thường đã thì qua tao cổ xong đã tiếp thì họ cũng họ chết gì xí thì của họ kia qua sẽ đi không sầu nữa mà của sắp bố hay thì bây giờ share nó là cho property tax nó là bây giờ tao một trong đã CD là mỗi cho mua nhà ta là nó thì của sắp bố cho nó là thì cũng bài đó là shit từ qua sẽ đi không sầu thì là họ sai cụ thiết thì của tàu cổ xong sự để có số lượng tiếp phó thì dễ biết cháu xe nữa biết số tàu ta lấy cho mua đó chỉ ta nó thì mà cởi cho nó ta lô nó thì của thêm mà một siêu biết cháu xe biết số tàu lấy cho một thầy đó cho tầm lúa nữa thầy đó cho chỉ cần đó cho lại khui ra thì lấy thầy đó cho một kế rồi biết rõ thế nữa ta thì cho nó cho xe họ xử lý nó chỉ học không nhiều thì giờ lên đó thì bây giờ sẽ đi khám sổ sẽ được và sẽ đi khám sổ thì sẽ được khi tí cho họ lựa đi đâu nữa thì tàn đó là một cái xong ở chép lâu ở trên này ngộp lâu làm một trò rồi ở trên này ngộp trò nó chỉ cũng mà họ làm một kia với thuộc county board commissioner thì cũng nhiều họ trao sái thầu lúc lâu hình tu xong ở trên này ngộp lâu nữa thì tất cả cũng ở xong trên lợi giờ cũng nhiều khó đã làm được shit từ giờ cũng nhiều khó cho sải thở lúc lâu liền tôi hoàn thiện chi nó xong ớt xiên nên ngọc lâu nó thì tôi cho xong ớt xiên nên ngọc xa thì mà ta thì giờ lên đó họ khảo thì chỉ biết cho nhiều tuần đầu chắc rồi thì giờ họ help service department nữa thì họ cho họ là chỉ bây giờ tôi là cho supervisor mà lấy tôi là siêu hay tiệm giờ nhiều tôi mất file rồi thì là lúc cùng họ nữa thì cả là một sợi rồi cho nên nhớ họอยู่dễอยู่rõ cho khó hay tiệt và cho supervisor mà là cứ thế này giờ là một họ luyện đâu thế gì là cho sửa cho nhiều cỏ và chỉ cho một file rồi cho cùng họ thì là một gọi là họ luyện được sự gì và cho sự được khám sổ cho con điểm bộ là thì là một trái làm plan cho họ con điểm thì yêu bồi cho đồ luyện xong là gì và bây giờ họ luyện thì rồi sửa cho nhiều chia choแต่ละcùng họ sức thì thuộc cũng nhớ cho họ về bé rõ mà mê hả bé mua ốp hà ốp不仅要bé mua li ốp不gì chồng chi phá tụi nành chưa nhớ bé rõ thì sẽ bé mua nành của cho tụ county board commissioner đó giờ giờ lên tới thì cũng khó chỉ nhớ được khó district cổ xa mà chỉ chỉ thọ bé sải tàu luôn là chỉ bé là một số thì chỉ một câu file được picture lúc committee nó chỉ sau đó cho bây giờ con điểm có chỉ là một câu file được lúc committee và hiện mình service department thì lúc housing thì lúc chỉ western daily lane thì lúc đó giờ siêu rồi cho chỉ cần đó tê cổ họng mê quá nè chỉ là một file được ở bên lúc nó còn khiến cho họ lựa nó thì bên một file họ lựa đi nó chỉ cũng phía mình chỉ hay tiệt toàn thế nó này cho con đi bồi quá chi rồi lúc họ tiền là lúcเขาđi nào mà nhiều khi họ lựa chọn thì sẽ bây giờ muốn chỉ trong tí giả xưa vậy bây giờ xưa hay tiệt vậy giờ nhiều chỉ cho thì bây giờ tao sau sinh gì thế thì chỉ sau sinh nào mà bây giờ tao xưa thì sẽ mình làm mấy cái sản xuất lại có thể tao sinh theo giờ giờ con đi bồi lấy chủ làm một sĩ giá tao cho mà lấy mà lấy làm một số sản phẩm quá chi và sống qua giờ sau sinh này làm mấy cái sản xuất thế là chỉ cho nó giờ chỉ giờ sẽ được con đi bồi giờ họ lựa thế là chỉ cũng xem gì nó cho biết sao đó và này chỉ bao nữa giờ thì này chỉ bao hay là sau sinh muốn từ ta lại là chỉ muốn dùng đã xử lý nữa cho city council giờ cho ô không lử cho họ cho nên nữa giờ nó cho share để sau ta chỉ bảo thì cho một sĩ làm nó đã city là city hall giờ là kia rồi này thì nó cho nhiên để sau ta giờ cho một thể đó chỉ ta là nó chỉเขาnói giờ khó choไปเซ็งนะอุตสาหกรรมว่าแล้วจะcity council มาแล้วมั่ว public hearing เนาะจะเจ้าในต้มลงว่าจะได้จุดเจ้าได้จะเข้าไปต้มหายตัวแล้วก็ตาถอดเลยว่าผ้าเลยมันได้หายชิไรหรอเลยว่าผ้าเลยจะตาเด้อđó chỉ làว่าใจสีหมูซินะจะchỉ做些จะอีตัว city council จะจุดนั้นเราไม่ก็เรารีคอมในของเด้อนะมันจะก็เราหายดวงนะมาที่รีหายเดียถอดเลยว่าผ้าเลยจะตาเลยนะว่าใจเราเฉลยสีซึจะเขียมจีเราไปเฉลยเราเองก็เฉลยเขาเป้าเทียบกูถามมันจะเราซื้อว่าโรงเรียนน่ะกูยอมวิสคอนซินที่ชิมาว่าโจเราที่เราเวนเทียต้องกู้ก็เขาเจอกูตัวเทียกูต้นชีไปเจอเจ้าที่จ้องไปน้อยเจอกูบอกตัวเดียวจังชายจะมาไปสื่อชับเราเลยเนอะเนี่ยเลยเขาเนาะไปอยู่ของมัวเลยไปเอาถูกไปถูกเราจะจีนั่งซื้อโดยที่เจ้าชายซื้อcòn đây là bây giờ chỉ là những cái suy đoán như theo thì giờ cá là cũng có nhiều giờ tụi ta thay đổi này cái để nhiều sợi cả lớp bỏ có xe cái nhiều sợi này để nói cũng có nhiều thì nếu mà hay là một cái city council nén xì giờ đừng tụt phao thế giờ lâu nữa thì city council nén xì tới giờ nó thế thì tôi nói thì tôi còn về trong xe này tôi còn về sau đó thì cũng thả mình chỉ đi đó giờ đây không có đất chi nó là họ nông cho nó cho bây cho nó chữ mông bị nó là cho chống bị nó giờ nó chữ mông nó chia nó chữ bị cả nó chia nó chữ mông nó cho nó bị sần sái nó thì nó cho nó chữ bị cả thì qua châu nữa
我这样，他还在种田种子、种碰种叶、种谷种地、种那种茶，แล้วมันต่างกันก็ไอ้种จังหวะจังหวะที่จะมองแล้วไม่บอก但是วันนี้กูปีน่ะกูท้าขวา with the brothers and sisters who are elected officials ตัวตัวนี้เราเป็นหน่อยอย่าไปเชิงบ่นเลยตัวเลยช่วยตัวอย่าง they are history in making จิตตาเล่นเนาะล่ะอีหรือมันตาหายท้อหายวัวโจเทียท้องวัวnot to be non-profit leaders, be professionals, be business owners, but I also want to acknowledge the Hmong Committee of 100 for doing something that's completely different and new and needed in our community. So Tangwa for the Hmong Committee of 100. Columbia Neng Xiong, Sing Wisconsin, more ability to hold more than one positions. So we do county board supervisor, to school board member, and at one time we do village trustee and go. You know, and I have to say, Judge Sophia, your story, Judge Pandita's story are remarkable. There's no words in English or Hmong I can use to describe how emotional I felt listening to you two. So I want to thank you two for your stories as well. It's another great reminder of how far we've come and how far the Hmong community has progressed in the last 50 years. We have progressed more in the last 50 years than we have in the last 500, and I am so proud of the accomplishments that we have done. Now, but Thomas had debate, we almost had a Hmong elected official. I ran for that office and we lost by less than 2% from in that race there. But when they're successful, the Hmong community should know the Bushana. If I can raise $200,000, they would pour $1.7 million to help us. Many of them didn't expect us to do that. Our Hmong community helped me raise $300,000, and with that, we immediately poured another $1.7 million into our campaign, and that was the most raised in any Wisconsin Assembly candidate campaign in history. So this is because of the Hmong community, the strength of our Hmong community, and that's one thing that the Hmong community is the fact that so as a priorities, I'm very fortunate that although I didn't win the assembly race, I've been served on all position as a Marathon County Board Supervisor and as a DC Area School Board. I stepped off as Vice President, but I still serve on the DC Area School Board.
On DCF School Board, I am the delegate in Wisconsin Association of School Boards, where we advocated for proper education funding, advocated for educational tools, and because of organizations, WASB, partners in the community, we were able to advocate and lobby the state legislator to pass Assembly Bill 232, which required school districts in the state of Wisconsin to teach about Hmong and Asian American contribution and history in the state of Wisconsin. In addition, being involved in district. So one of the things that our school board is focused on is finding resources for mental health resources, funding for mental health resources. We work to ensure that there's to ensure that there's high academic achievement, and also work to ensure that we are doing everything we can to support students with disability. We have been able to do this at the same time delivering a $2 million tax cut to our constituents as well in the DC Everett School District. Now on the county board, I've been very fortunate to serve as the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee, and I serve as the chair of the Transportation Coordinating Committee, and also the chair of the Social Services Board. And through those efforts, we are tackling issues such as the housing crisis, the homeless crisis, tackling the child care crisis, working to ensure that our public safety providers have the resources they need, ensure that there is DEI and also cultural competency training in those in those departments, and we work to ensure that there is no new increases in taxes while ensuring that we have the highest quality possible. Those are some of the priorities that our board has focused on this year here, making sure that we are delivering the highest quality services, but ensuring that there is no increases in taxes for our constituents, because we know that our communities, our middle class folks are struggling, but we also want to make sure that everyone is being taken care of. And that's one thing that I've been very proud of the achievements of our county and our school district. So now, I just want to say there's a lot more that needs to be done, and a lot of good brothers and sisters. We cannot do this. So I encourage each and every single one of you, do everything you can here to support your elected officials, so that it is very tiring at times when you're fighting for them and you see nobody there to support you. And I think it's always good to see whether if you have time or not, just drop by their board meetings, their village meetings, their council meetings, and show your support for them, because they need you as well. We can only survive if we all work together. Thank you very much.
Patient day now, okay? Talk about John McCunsey Patty Lala, then I pay Ethan Charge, and he's going to be the last elected official who will be speaking. He down Mutanate Ya, go Yalamu, Tamiji, community needs, then I pay more question answers. Pay Lala. Then Chicha Chompe, what she did not say, Shen Day, then we are going to be ended at 9:30. The Shen Day, well, the Patapi to the highlight, and pay. The first time pay committee okay, then I pay the elected official she let show go the pay tonight pay Yaga
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for all your stories. And I'm honored to share the same space with all of you. We represent Ethan Jack, we are the state representative. We are the chair of the state capital, and more big to a land. No, we are having the members, not to be state legislator. They're not, they want Senator Pop with Representative Liz Lee and Representative Goldie Howard, that she Representative Sam Bang, not Brooklyn. We had to chair not had the previously agriculture that she we had to chair not part legacy. Lot of the Representative Xiong Yato East St. Paul, okay, Nia be to previous chair in workforce development. She Hmong Nia to chair not the veterans, okay. Nila the represent Fu Lee. Nia be to chair Metro Minneapolis. She chair of capital investment and infrastructure bonding. So I thought the your Gailufai take your Virginia to the state of Minnesota. It's more food, signature gay. Which more your project infrastructure not to the state of Minnesota, okay. Chitarin Senator Neng Xiong, we have Vice Chair of Climate and Energy for the state of Minnesota, and then Senator He, we have the Chair of Legacy and Environment. And I want to emphasize that the Chair now Yarachia, Changang to Bay Mong Yadaka, via the Bemo Kyoto Mong Yato Bechi, the she big Kyoto Mong, your chair, the Vice Chair, Hana Usaka, Neng Xiong, okay. Vì hiện tại nhớ được chuyện đó nếu mà nâng cổ trâu lúc trong sẽ là thì she name nhớ được shah house na bé trâu lăng dầu trâu the 26th chair for the state of Minnesota. Thảm mình chỉ sau cũng có house member đó thì she cũng đã là hai trâu cũng tụi keng cũng lúc bé mong nhà phòng cũng chỉ là cứ cha cũng nè giờ mọi ya cũng yêu nhớ trâu thắt tê nào. I don't know what a child, what child don't they do? What child don't they get sick? To that heart, it's like from a ball. It's told to do. Got big girl had the do one child. Don't they can be got. Betty told Neng Xiong, Betty told Jean Bourgeois. And no, how to share, with the girl had their sacrificed the most are not with us today. And we, the children of those that sacrificed the most, get those Jean Bourgeois, and let the change of pay. Khó năng cho kế quan châu tôi nên thôn cho tôi cái này cái gì tôi tuổi trẻ nó thế cái nhau tuổi trẻ nàoวันนี้sao châu Việt thì đây cái miệng mong cái anh xài thế cái tú rồi thì lúc trong nọ em muốn cho mong rong thế lúc nâng rong thế lúc trong đầu rau muốn không cái nào giờ vì này cái gì cho bé tôi cái kiểu vật mang em béวันนี้sao châu bây giờ là mỗi gia đình hàng cúi chỉ thành đấy thì chỉ cúi ra ya thì cúi ya tụi mình mong tôi bông tôi hạt thì Saint Paul thôi ít cái bồi giáo nữa bây giờ tôi bị hạt thì Delta University ở Google lúc check the Webster Magnet thôi bây giờ nó cái bây mongจะ chọn nhảy đi bắt ta tụi cái hạt thì bây tôi nó bây chỉ muốn tự hiểu mọi ý đồ là nhảy nhảy trong hạt đi bia ok bây giờ cái mong ya Frogtown thôi ít cái bồi giáo nữa bây giờ bây giờ cái chế luận nó bây giờ chuyện giao hạt thì thầu bây giờ cái chế luận nó khi đưa rồi đó bây giờ là ở bên phía đó bây thì xin mua thế hạt thì muốn chạm là cái hoạt động của sao thì này cái gì hết chuyện giao lúc xin hàng đấy à thầu lúc xin hàng đó bây giờ chọn nhẹ hơn giao đi bây giờ thì mình mong nhớ cho Frogtown thế cũng là nhớ cho cái Capitol Heights để lúc chế đó every 4th of July là tôi giao hạt thì fireworks bây giờ hậu bây giờ bây cái mình mong bông rong nè bên我是bên铁路乘坐铁路站到大家都給落這事，可能係邊個咩忙人家成跑邊個種烏沙的呢種用，邊幫用邊鐵路站到邊鐵路鐵道邊路巴路站，路站到呢，換住種到老橋到路上，沙鐵道對邊個幫用家都好，沙鐵道對邊個嘅落去到一路中，落去到嘅街落空，一路橋一路地路橋。cái này cái gì bây giờ kiến chơi giờ có bên một lúc đấy chơi bây giờ lên đó hai chỗ này thì lúc đấy chơi bên chơi giờ lúc đấy chơi bên nhau là gì nó giờ lúc state of Minnesota lúc đấy chơi bên giờ thì cái gì thì muốn nói chuyện còn đây là trong bao số nó là chủ sĩ bên vấn đề là châu他们去找古早好哩这古早是bên giờ hay là senator thì cái representative bên这的bây giờ hồi giờ giờ chuyện cái đó bây giờ là chỉ là cái đó này, ý giờ thì bây budget the state, cái nhiệt tiền nhất đó bây giờ đó, sai tôi thì thanh thọ cái sẽ này thể trong lúc state of Minnesota, bây giờ cái nói chứ mỗi cái những cái là phải appropriate cho hạt tiền lúc state of Minnesota là thể những cái services đó thì cái beli cái này cụ thể chỉ cần đấy cái khó cái là phải trong cái district cái city, nên bây giờ cái thì sai hiểu cái budget for state of Minnesota. Xiong nó có budget for state of Minnesota yet $9 billion. Cái nói cái nhiệt tiền, bây giờ state representative, bây giờ senate members, bây giờ hiểu donate. họ lúc thì bé ôi là chi bây giờ kiểu là chưa thế sao cái là cả lúc thì lúc theo nhất là state of Minnesota. We are the lawmakers. We are the one that draft legislation to become law to be enacted for the state of Minnesota. Họ nói họ lúc thì khi đó nè thì bé ôi là chi cho nên tiền. Thằng mình chỉ cho hạt thì cái họ lười bé tôi ta là cho nên là nên tiếp bao cũng tôi hay bây giờ là hạt thì tao hiểu nó bé tao hạt thì phải ý cái nhiều là tao the community. And an amount of $26.7 million came back to the Hmong community because of your Hmong state legislator. Họ nói họ có Nepal na, okay? Vì thế nhau cho lúc tuổi trẻ nó nên tiếp bỏ thì nó HAP tôi hỏi nó HAP has received money from the state of Minnesota. You know, the SGU, là cho Hmong United, là cho hạt thì the University of Minnesota and the Chambers of Commerce have received millions of dollars appropriate by the state of Minnesota. Possible because of Neng Xiong legislature, Nyoto Bay State Capital. Hanoi Hmong Neng Xiong. Nó có tôi làm mà giờ thì vì mỗi cái năng chuẩn chứng bỏ thì lúc xưa họ nói lúc xưa chuẩn chứng cho bên chuan số tu. Wayne, the chair Wayne asked me to come speak a little bit about the big community engagement at the and this is my answer, Wayne. Why do God the we hãy cần bê nhất rồi này tới nó giờ. Tôi sao cái nên đâu cũng lòng xe lại tiền. Marcus Yang, Dr. Lucky Yang, attorney Neng Xiong, is that how I say it? I'm sorry. Chu Vu, Du Xiong, Zhe Fa, Norm Vu, Du Fa, Kenry Vang, Paul Lee Vang, Jacob Va, Showing Ya, Mo Chang, Hua Vu, John B. Yang, Josie Va, Gu Xiong, Michael Zhe Ta, Li Ba Xiong, He Wayne, Tao. These are important people. Cái này look at committee 100 chẳng kiên của hai đứa này chẳng kiên vì gì cả. Vì hết cái hậu lối nó bé cho elected sẽ bé watch it out. Nếu chỉ mua cái bé sân, more leadership đi Wayne the committee 100 là tan tê luôn để con sông đi nó bé thì tua đơn này chỉ做谈论这里到。mà khi nó có sao cả thì nó nói is possible is because the leadership of the committee of 100. So Wayne, I ask with that, how can we continue? Or how can we better the engagement of community? Who said that they don't tell one day? And no more better than young Jong tap it in and then the outside the big holy. Yavi then hard road and they don't tell one day again. No, who had to got there. You've already taken the first, the most important step for us to bridge that community. So, who saw what you're doing? You know, good time for me to know that the be more chunking more gavi, the be more important part of Monya to the state of Minnesota. Xiong no na, be yen ilu jong, go chilu shores na, go chilu shore bomba, young to ilu jong not junior to Shakopee, the state House of Representatives. Go chilu shore, who's out in Nepal, go chito Monya to Shakopee. I believe so. You know, Yato St. Cloud. Bây giờ nó trồng được bởi ít bộ thế cứ kiểu nó xóa ra, ok? Ở trong nhà ta nói bây sai cha bây giờ nó trồng kiểu nó xóa ra. We lost a seat by 9 votes, okay? In many of the districts in the state of Minnesota, bây mua mong chờ ý một chỗ chi phá tụ mong ấy bỏ tàu luôn bỏ số cho bây giờ elected official. Bây chẳng kiếm một cái cả bây mua có chỉ từ này sẽ có bị bên lòng tối lúc trong này, bên mua ít bộ cho kiểu ít lúc số bên lòng tối lúc trong, nhớ cho về lịch ở một ít bộ của ít lúc số gì, bên lòng tối ít lúc trong ít tuần nọ. This is the power. Con nào họ thì có power build community vì bên tôi tháp về tôi sẽ là nó chân kiến bộ lịch cả bên tao thì chân kiến bộ lịch đó. Bên cho nó chưa nhớ cho bên nó na. In a project to push us see. Be a Democrat. Okay. We are Democrat. We are blue, we're DFL, endorsed. We are Democrats in the state of Minnesota. And those are our foundation. And go pay power na how home na hadia. Ganya na go $2.7 million na little more donate. Little more to build community. It is the Democratic legislator who fought for these dollars to come back into our community. Not the last year. For the last 50 years that we have had every person in every position in the state and across the nation, it is because of your dollars that allow us to continue to progress, to be here today, to represent you, to give something back. A collective power of the Hmong community. Moving forward, will be another election year. And what does it mean to have the majority in the House and the majority in the Senate in the state of Minnesota? It means that in the majority, the gavel. Chair because the gavel. Community. Chair of bigger community committees. Why it's so important to vote, why it's important to make sure that we hold or maintain a majority in the House and the Senate in the state. That's why it matters, right? We are to the suburb in the state of Minnesota, the young state race. Most of our electeds are in BIPOC or in areas where it's in the metro. And I've seen changes. How does things change? Woodbury, every weekend, Virginia, that happens, right? Well, guess what? It's not happening now. And it's not going to happen because State Representative Ethan Child lives in Woodbury, and I'm not going to let that happen, right? So these are the things that are important, why it's important to continue to push forward. And this is why, Wayne, the work that you and your committee does and continues to do is going to be so important in this path moving forward as a community. There is so much to talk about, but okay? You have that right. You have the right to approach your legislator and talk to us and ask, that is how we draft legislation. That is how we improve our community. I may have missed some stuff and I won't get into it, but I just want to yield the mic to Representative Liz, because Liz, Senator Pa, carried a very important legislation for us last year. That appropriate money in the Legacy Committee to over $500,000 to honor and celebrate Southeast Asian in the state of Minnesota for the 50th anniversary. So I'm going to yield the mic over to Liz a little bit, and also to, no? Okay, so just to represent Liz to talk about that, because we need you to understand what is coming forth this year, 2025. Right? Thank you.
Okay, apologies, but in the House we have a rule you can speak on a subject up to 2 times. So I am taking my second time, and I will speak in English this time, which will hopefully help me express my ideas a little better, because so gu hai lu mong chi chomeng e tashna hai lu mi ga ka shening ka shap but the so Ethan's asked me to talk about our 50th anniversary commemoration bill. We, because of the work of Chair Feng He, who is not here, and also the work of our incoming chair, Samantha Vang, and a lot of the members on our legacy committee, we were able to secure $400,000 to give to community organizations to commemorate 50 years of Hmong folks being in Minnesota. And so Hmong Museum and Transforming Generations and other folks, did really well in the grants process, and we anticipate that they will be receiving these funds, but there has not been an official announcement yet, so stay tuned. And so that's, I hope, we'll answer that question. I think we have a Q&A session afterwards, so I'm happy to chat about that, or you can always reach out. I always put that in my newsletter. And then also just because I have the mic again, and this has been brought up numerous times from our city and our county folks about taxes. I've been doing tax policy for the last 10 years, so I want to explain a little bit that you probably know you pay your federal taxes, your state, and your local taxes. And so what I was trying to get at earlier in Hmong was, it is, I guess, superficial or incorrect to say, if you don't pay a lot of state taxes, then you don't have a tax liability. Because what usually happens is if the state government does not give aid to your city or your county, and these folks know there's something called LGA, which is local government aid, and CPA, which is county program aid. The state collects your income taxes, and they give this to every county, and most of all the cities and townships in Minnesota. And so this is really important because that means that when we have that money at the state level, the state legislators here, we decide where that goes and how much of that money goes out so that your property taxes don't increase. And that's really important to understand, because you want people at the state legislature who will relieve the pressures of your local electeds to increase your property taxes. And that's what I was getting at when I say it's actually really important to understand that your local taxes is actually also really much determined by your state electeds. And so I just want to make that connection because we have so many local partners here, and so we work all the time to make sure that we pay for our firefighters, we pay their pensions, and we pay for human services and all the things that we ask counties to do, which is really important and which a lot of our communities have relied on. I have expired my time, and so I'm going to give this back to
cho dia cũng ý con lươn diều của xã anh gì cho họ bị mua cho ở bên từ tương gia thành chế ở họ cho họ bị nó không cản ở tôi nó thế gì của xã khe để cho nên bao thế nào bị họ mua lời sau đây gì bên thứ điều tôi bây giờ trên núi cho họ bị nó không cản nó anh họ cho xài bé mà bên mua bé rồi trong xe hiện tại bị họ chú tàu cho tương xài và nhớ cho họ bị nó mong mà cái nó là họ cho bé thế bây giờ để họ bỏ lời nhớ sang cho lo thật tới trong lo thì ý mình cho lời thải thì anh mua cái thứ sinh nó chỉ là sát chỉ sát cái bài chỉ thế nào thì thằng ấy xây ở cho họ lựa cho họ cho mấy cho offices na so the good office thì mua employ ya rồi cái sợ employ có từ legislative aid cái nó đi tới.
And then many of you guys have already met, but go to legislative assistant Panya Vaz. Thank you for coming with us today.
And at the House, we don't get to choose our legislative aid, so we don't have any here.
But I do want to also say, though, because we have Hmong electeds, we've been able to hire a lot of Hmong women and men to work in the legislature, and that's a really important pipeline. As you may know, I worked in Congress for 10 years, and so that builds that institutional knowledge. And so, and Mike Howe is here somewhere. Yes. So Mike Howe is the aide for Senator Fong Her. He's not here, so we're going to introduce her too. But I also want to emphasize that this is a really important knowledge